Okay, so let's carry on with today's talk on willpower and will. Now, I want to consider what's real about your will. There's a lot of debate about whether the will exists, but obviously, when we talk about willpower, I've just proved to you that willpower, there's no such thing as willpower. I mean, it's a relationship that you have between your consciousness and your subconscious. So, but I'm gonna slightly move away from that relationship and just talk about what's real about your will, rather than what's powerful about it, because we're the manipulator. So you just manipulate yourself, and your power is in manipulation. So that's a passive power. That one is, it doesn't, you do not act. You request an action to be done, but you do not act directly yourself. So in terms of what's real about your will and your consciousness, we have to consider, like, the example I like using is music on a CD. Now, when you look at music on a CD, when you look at that CD, all you see is a pattern on the CD, yeah, a digital pattern that has been, engraved in there. It's just a program at the end of the day, yeah. It's just a pattern on the CD. It's just a program, but that's what it is until it starts playing. As soon as it starts to play, it comes alive. Then you can say that that music is real for the duration of time that it's playing. When it stops playing, it doesn't exist. It's just a program and pattern on a disc. That's all it is, just a program and a pattern on a disc. But as soon as you play the CD, then the music exists. Just, it's a temporary existence. It's a bit like the mass of a laser, yeah. A laser light, if you strike an object, even if you strike your weighing scales with a strong enough laser, it will show a weight, yeah. If you get your weighing scales and you shine a strong laser on it, it will show a weight, but that weight only exists as long as the laser is lighting up, yeah, is firing. As soon as the laser stops, the weight of the laser disappears. So it's a temporary existence. That's the same with your thoughts and your consciousness, and hence your will and your memory. So when you're not thinking, yeah, you don't exist. It doesn't exist. Your thoughts do not exist. Your will does not exist. Your consciousness, none of that exists when you're not thinking, yeah. But when you start thinking, like music on a CD, that's when it can be said that you've become real, yeah. So in terms of what the power in your will is, obviously, during your existence, which is only there when you start to think, yeah, that's when your existence is there. Now, contemplation is not the only form of thinking there is. Thinking about things is not the only form of thinking there is. There is also thinking, yeah, about what you're doing, yeah. You know what I mean? So the passive nature of your will is like this. So I'm kind of doing this, yeah. I can consider myself, I can just be doing this, yeah. Then I can observe myself doing this. So there's me that's doing this, yeah, and then there's me that's observing myself doing this. During that moment when I'm just doing this, I'm not even observing it, I'm just doing it. You can't really say that I'm thinking, yeah. But during that time when I'm thinking, right, so I'm doing that, okay, so this is what I'm doing. So my will comes to life. But when I'm just doing this, I'm not thinking. I'm like, hey, yeah, what's going on? How are you? I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. Yeah. Technically, consciously speaking, I don't exist. Yeah, because when I start doing that, that's an order that I gave my brain in the past, so I can carry on doing that and look at other things and do other things and not even notice that my hands is doing that. Because like in that video that I showed you before, yeah, give me a second. Yeah, in this video here, I'll switch off the sound because I want to hear myself talk. You can see that I made that action, yeah, then the paper fell, but I made that action in the past and then I carried on doing other things, yeah, so I am not even real here, but I exist here. But yet from a conscious point of view, I'm not real where this paper is. So as this paper is moving, as you can see it moving there, my hand is somewhere else, so I'm busy concentrating on that. So what I am is that person that's concentrating on that top. So but the person that's moving this, yeah, is not me. Yeah, it was me at an earlier time, but it's not me. I'm not currently moving it. Yeah, I'm currently doing that. So this is where you find that some of you report ghostly occurrences, where you walk into a room, you slam the door real quick, the current generated by that wind slides I don't know, slides an object slightly towards the edge of a table, just enough for it to go over its center of gravity, and then the object can sometimes take 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to fall. By the time it falls, you already forgot that you closed the door, that you abruptly closed the door and it created the wind. So then that object will fall by itself and you're like, oh my god, there must be a ghostly presence. That's you from the past. That is you. When you shut that door abruptly, you set off a chain reaction that caused that object to fall in the future. Like that. That's you in the past. So that's when you say something, you could look at someone and say, look man, you are haunting yourself. That was just you who was doing it. There's no paranormal stuff. It's just you that's haunting yourself from the past. Yeah. You set off a chain reaction. Yeah. You see my hand there? Yeah. When I moved it across, look, I moved it across and it set off a chain reaction. And although I moved on to other things, look, now I moved on to other things. This one here started falling. And I completely moved on to something completely different. Now, when you call ghost and things like that, you have to eliminate yourself. Not yourself where you're currently being real, yeah? But yourself where you was, yeah? Where you was real, yeah? So, the forces you generate when you move, when you go through life, these forces will be around forever, yeah? If you look at existence, yeah, it's like a membrane, yeah, it's like a lattice. There's particles in every square inch of the universe, and if you exert a force anywhere in the universe, it's transferred to all the particles in the universe. So the forces you generate when you live will outlive you, yeah. That is your ontological existence. That is, and those forces come alive, yeah. Those forces come alive when you deduce that it's you that created them, you come alive. Now, you could walk into a building, slam a door, yeah, and then the air will rush out through a small opening in a window, yeah, and maybe hit a branch that was about to fall. Then that falls, and then a chain reaction creates a wind that somehow hits a tree that fells a leaf or an apple, yeah, and this hits someone, and then someone can feel that apple hitting their head and think, hang on, it's possible for them to actually deduce that it was that, to all of a sudden have this urge to think about you, yeah, and then they'll be like, because that force initially was initiated by you, yeah, so it exists, as in, if you're standing under an apple tree and you didn't know that an apple was falling, does that mean that it's not falling? Yeah, yeah. If I stood underneath an apple tree and I didn't know that there was an apple falling right on top of my head, does that mean that the apple is not falling? Of course it doesn't. Yeah? Just because you don't see something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Yeah? It doesn't become real to you, but it still exists beyond you. It exists beyond you. When the apple falls on you, yeah, it will cause you to think. It will provoke you to thought. Yeah? And those are subsequent lectures that I'm going to give. The reason we think, 50% of it is because of nature. When you feel cold, this provokes you to think about getting a coat, getting an umbrella, getting something to keep you warm, turning on the heater. Those thoughts wouldn't have become real if nature didn't make you freeze, didn't make you feel cold. Yeah. So just because you're not looking at something doesn't mean it does not exist. Yeah? It's not real to you, but it is real. Yeah? But what you know for certain is that when you're not thinking, you don't exist. Yeah? You don't exist. So one of you philosophers said that in it, I think, therefore I am in it. But all that you've been through and you understand what that means. But in terms of your will, yeah, it's a passive entity. It does not act. It directs, but it does not act. Yeah. It is the you that sees you doing that, but it's not the you that's doing that. It's the you that says move that and then sees you moving that, but it's not the you that's moving that. Yeah. So there is two ways of looking at yourself. Two ways of looking at yourself. Yeah. And that's all I wanted to add.